Rick Rude. That stripper music would start playing. He'd come out, hit the ring, and do his little, shake his moneymaker dance, and then sexually assault a crowd member. It was a great entrance for a heel, but it was just a great entrance in general. The one thing that does happen to me is when I think about his music, sometimes I get it confused with Val Venus, but that's because Val Venus stole Rick Rude's character.
In essence, yes. Good point.
Fellas, please try to contain your jealousy for just a moment. The ladies would like to have silence while I take my robe off and show them what a real sexy body looks like.
And with that said, here's the thing. I'm going to let you talk about him as much or as little as you want, because I agree he could have been in these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But Rick Rude was one of those guys. He was just legit badass motherfucker. Had that great look, had that great talk, had that smug, don't fuck with me attitude. I'm Rick Rude, you're not kind of thing. And so go on with that. I agree. He could have been a champion. And you tell me your reason why you put him here, because we discussed this off air. Well, I agree with you, though.
There's a couple reasons. I mean, he held the WCWA title when World Class became WCWA. I don't consider that to be a real world title. It was their United States Championship or American Championship that they elevated to a world title. And he could also be considered a world champion because he held the WCW International title, which again was kind of a bogus title. They had to figure out how to replace the NWA title, so they made a twin of the big gold belt and ran with that. Rick Rude was a guy whose career was cut short by an injury, but as I have heard stories from people, the guy knew what he was doing in the ring. He knew how to get heat out of the crowd, but also apparently you didn't fuck with Rick Rude. That is what I've heard.
Well, I know that for a fact, because when he was in Florida Championship Wrestling, I had a friend of mine tell me while he was training, he thought he was tough, and he had went down to the CWF Championship Wrestling Florida tapings, and he was acting like a badass, and he was going to meet him outside and this and that. Now, this is a goof, and he never went anywhere in a fucking business and this and that. And he walked up, and he was like, apparently had been harassing Rick Rude during the tapings. And anyway, he was like, saw him in a parking lot. And so the guy, you talk about get your fucking bones chilled. I know Rick Rude was tough outside the ring, but my buddy, I won't say my buddy, a person I was training with, saw him in a parking lot, was still harassing him. The guy got up in Rick Rude's face. I give the guy credit, he got up in his face, but you know what? Shut him down. Rick Rude, this is what the guy told me. And this is a grown man telling me this. He said, Rick Rude looked at him and said, have you ever been called a cunt? And he said, this guy's about 6'2", about 230 at the time. He said, I felt like a fucking pussy. And when he asked me, did I feel like a cunt? He said, I melted. I felt like a fucking cunt. He said, no, sir. I turned around and walked away with my tail between my legs. And this guy wasn't a tough guy. He was wanting to be a wrestler. Again, he never made it. He didn't finish training, but he hung around all the matches when I was down in Florida. But can you imagine approaching Rick Rude and then that guy say to you, have you ever been called a cunt? And that guy said, no, sir. And he fucking melted, wilted, walked the fuck away. Don't fuck with Rick Rude. So, yeah, Rick Rude, he could have been the world's heavyweight champion had they decided to put a title on him. So all due respect and rest in peace, Mr. Rick Rude. What a tough motherfucker.
All you southern swamp sows, for all you fat, ugly Rhode Island rednecks, Minnesota meatheads, New York nerds, take a look at this body.